Mike DeRoe, Director of Golf at Quail Creek. Topic today is the pivot. How important it is. There's a saying, if you pivot well, people are going to say you have a good swing. If you pivot well, and you get this pose right here with your foot like that and your knee like that, you can miss a ball and people are going to say, nice swing. It's when you hit it like this that you have no pivot, people are going to know you're a hacker. So, you want to have a pivot not only to look good, but also to have the same swing over and over. Plus, a pivot will help your any kind of back issues, because if you have a good pivot, it won't hurt your back, because if you pivot well, there's no back strain. Of course, if you turn and you give it one of these double ow swings, that's a bad pivot. Okay, what is a good pivot? Okay, let's talk about the positive. Okay, we were saying that the arms just drop in golf. Well, it can't be just a drop, because if they just drop, that's the result you'd get. Just gravity would get that. Okay, so there has to be a tiny weight shift to the left, and then after your arms release, you got to go with it with your hips. That keeps the centripetal force of the club going. So if your hips make a little weight shift and then move with it, you're going to get a lot of centripetal force in these arms. Because the arms are what swing a shaft, the elbows and wrists, but they need a turning internal force. That's the pivot. Okay, 3 main types of pivot. You've probably seen them on the tour. The one some of the young people do is the pop pivot. They pop into that left leg. Why do they do that? Because they can really, once their leg gets like that, you'll even see them go up in the air sometimes. They'll pop up. A straight left leg is a fast leg, because once things get straight, they can really go around. So a straight post. I'm not advocating it, by the way. If you do it, fine. A couple other players that have a soft left leg. That would be Phil Mickelson and Jim Furyk. They kind of have a soft leg there. I think it kind of hurts, and to have a soft leg is not a very fast leg. So they do it all with their arms. They have really good arms. The easiest one is, watch this. I'm going to bump into my left hip, and that's just called a natural post. So, Jack Nicklaus turned his head and watched me knock this chair over, or try to. He used to drive his knees and knock chairs over and such. I don't want to do that. So I think of it as a post. I swing back, my weight moves gently left, I get to the post, and the phrase I like to use is into before you go around, or bump into, and then go around. You don't ever want to think you go around first, because it'll look like this, around, and you won't ever get over to the post. So to get to the post, good players say they bump into it first. To me, that means I move my knees a little bit that way, thighs and knees. I bump it, swing, and then I have really good balance. You can tell if you swung too hard if you can't balance on your swing at the end. So if you've ripped your shoulders, another reason to have a good pivot is you're thinking the rotation is this. Slight rotation, bump, then rotation of the legs. And you're not putting the impetus on your shoulders, because you know what players that try to turn their shoulders look like. They go, shoulders. And you don't want to be one of those people turning from the upper body. I've heard a lot of tour players say it's a one-turn swing. What they mean is with their upper body, they only turn once. The other part of the swing is bump, drop, the arms release, and the fact that they get here, they don't even know it. So you could say, don't turn your chest, don't turn your chest, it turns anyway. Why? Because it's connected to your waist. So as long as your legs move. But the good news is you don't have to try turn anything in the upper body. Okay, so the game is a game of a little bump, find a pivot you like, and come around. You will feel your right thigh get in front of your left thigh. By the way, take your toes out a little bit. It helps rotation both ways. If your toes are in, really hard to rotate. Little out flare opens it up a lot. Give those couple things a try. I think you'll like your pivot better.